Good afternoon, everyone. The Conservative Party has been very good to me. I've been elected 3 times to represent the people of Broxtowe as their Member of Parliament. And I'm very grateful for the support and the hard work of a small team of activists, mostly members of Broxtowe Conservatives. They know who they are. Friends and family who enabled me to win. I served in 2 governments as a Minister of Health, the first woman MP Defence Minister, and in 2015 I was promoted to attend Cabinet as Business Minister. I rejoined the party in 2002 to a welcome that warmed as the desperately needed modernisation of the Conservatives took shape. I was a single mother of 2 children. I'd worked in television as a reporter and a presenter, and then spent 16 years as a criminal barrister in my home city of Nottingham. You don't leave a political party that you've called home for many years without a great deal of thought and a considerable amount of heartache. And it is with a heavy heart that I've today resigned my membership of the Conservative Party. Last night, an old friend who I first met back in the 1970s, I can't tell you which year because it's so long ago I've forgotten, but in any event, we were both student members of Birmingham University Conservatives, and he sent me a text. "Don't leave," he said. "Stay and fight them. It's our party," from the Ken Clarke wing of the Tory party. The them of which he spoke are the right, the anti-EU wing of the Conservative Party. Yesterday, Sir John Major spoke about them, describing the more extreme of their number as zealots. He's called them far worse, but he correctly identified the hollowing out of traditional Tories in the membership of the Conservative Party. Well, as my friend, and he is my friend, Chuka Ramuna said on Monday, you don't join a political party to fight it, and you don't stay in it and skirmish in the margins when the truth is the battle is over and the other side has won. The right wing, the hardline anti-EU awkward squad that have destroyed every leader for the last 40 years are now running the Conservative Party from top to toe. They are the Conservative Party. Dear friends, and they are dear friends, now former colleagues who share those one nation values and principles will of course today deny it. But I believe in their heads and in their hearts, they know it's over. And the reason they know it's over is because we lost the referendum and Brexit now defines and shapes the Conservative Party. Now, I'm a former criminal barrister, so I'm pretty much predisposed to evidence. And it's on the evidence that I say the Conservative Party is in the state it's in, and I suggest that evidence is overwhelming. After the Prime Minister lost her withdrawal agreement, she said she would reach out to build a consensus. Of course, she should have done that at the beginning of all of this, in the beginning of her premiership, not at the 11th hour. And in that spirit, the first people that she invited into number 10 were the ERG. The very people who just weeks beforehand had called a vote of no confidence in her leadership and had delighted in calling out her failings to any passing microphone on College Green. But mainstream Conservatives with a fine record of loyalty who'd served at the highest level in government, and I hope she'll forgive me for using her name, but people like Justin Greening, who'd rejected the deal for perfectly sensible reasons, are still waiting for a call. At a local level, and I don't include my association in this, though we have had our problems with infiltration, but overwhelmingly the majority of associations are being infiltrated by a nationally orchestrated entryism, blatantly designed to remove rebel MPs who they label traitors. Conservatives with the stature, the service and loyalty of Sir Nicholas Soames, Sir Oliver Letwin, the former party chair, Dame Caroline Spelman. They're being hounded and they're being pilloried. My friend Nick Bowles faces deselection, as do others. Some face motions of no confidence, and their only offence has been to support the Prime Minister's withdrawal agreement. And even though the party chairman is on the traitors list, he's failed to provide the firm political leadership that is demanded. The result of this blue kip, as Sarah has called it, and what we call the purple momentum, is that too many of our now former colleagues fear their associations more than they fear their electorate, the people they've been voted to represent. It's a form of tyranny. And it's ironic that Conservatives observe and condemn it in the Labour Party, but it's happening in their own party. And in the words of my other dear friend and my near neighbour, Chris Leslie, enough is enough. The shift to the right began shortly after Theresa May became leader. And notwithstanding her fine words on the steps of Downing Street, which, as Sarah says, we all three of us cheered, within a few months, the modernising reforms that had taken years to achieve were destroyed. Citizens of the world were cast out as citizens of nowhere. Remain voters marginalised and insulted as members of the liberal metropolitan elite. That didn't go down very well in places like Broxtowe amongst my Remain voters. And of course, the electorate gave their verdict in June 2017, when we lost over 30 Conservative MP colleagues in a truly disastrous general election campaign. And where are we now? Well, we're with EU citizens who've lived and contributed to this country for decades, being labelled as queue jumpers. One Nation Conservatives are pursuing a Brexit policy they don't believe in. And they know it will harm the economic prospects of this remarkable country and their own constituents. Others, like Sir John Major, bravely battle on, making the point that 63% of people in this country did not vote for Brexit, and even more did not vote for the no-deal Brexit that, unfortunately, Mrs May appears willing to deliver. But the decision to leave the Conservatives, as Heidi and Sarah have identified, is not all about Brexit. It's about facing the reality of British politics as it stands today and is set to continue unless we do our duty as elected representatives. You win in politics when you're with a team and in that team with shared values and principles. And I believe mine are no longer welcome in the Conservative Party. I'm not leaving the Conservative Party. It's left us. On Monday, Chuka held out the baton to people like us, and today we seize it, and in turn we hold it out to fellow One Nation Conservatives and like-minded Lib Dems that I certainly had the pleasure to work with in the coalition government. Please, come and join us. And to the millions of people who feel abandoned and not represented by either of our two broken main parties, and indeed all our parties, we share your values, your dreams and your aspirations. We three have never been called your so-called typical Tory. Like everyone, we're tired of labels, we're tired of tribalism, and we're tired of British politics being dominated from its extremes. It's time for change, and we are a team with your support that will deliver that change. Thank you.